Welcome back, all my wealth-minded humans. This is a channel where you will learn how to manage your finances, how to get out of debt, how to start saving, and also how to start creating wealth and live a better life. You might be in a situation where you have a credit card debt and it is attracting a very high interest. And I'm here to tell you that there are strategies that you can utilize to get rid of that high interest credit card debt. One thing I must say to you is that there is such thing as a balance transfer offer that you can utilize. Now, usually these balance transfer offers, they come in the sense of 0% interest for the life of the transaction. It could be 12 months or it could be more, but there is a 5% fee that is associated with that particular transfer. Now that 5% is calculated on the amount that you're transferring onto that card. Now sometimes you may get another offer on that same card for 0% on purchases only for a duration of time, but there is what you call a $0 fee. We all want to be debt free, and we all want to utilize the best method to save ourselves some money in our pockets. But I noticed that someone is out there telling you that you're to forget about the 5% transaction fee and don't use that, but you're to use the $0 fee, which simply means that you are to utilize the 0% on purchases. And you might say to yourself, how is that going to help me for 0% on purchases when you have the debt already and you're not buying anything new? So you might be wondering, how is that possible? There is a way that if you look at your monthly expenses and you analyze them, you can pull out the items that you can use a credit card to pay for, such as food, gas, car insurance. But remember that you cannot pay for your rent nor your mortgage using a credit card, okay? So you can use that credit card now to pay for those expenses. I'm going to get right into this and show you how this is going to work, because this person is telling you that you can utilize this, but there's something that they're missing, and I'm here to break this down for you and show you that little gray area that was left out. Okay, so come on, let's get into it. So the balance transfer offer is 0% on the balance transfer, okay, and it's going to be a 5% fee. And the other one is going to be 0% on purchases, and that is going to have $0 fee. Say for instance, you have $12,000 on that credit card that is attracting 25% interest. So the $12,000 you have here on that credit card, okay? And the interest rate here is 25%. It's a lot of money. I'm going to tell you this, okay? I'm going to break this down for you, because if you choose the 0% on the balance transfer, you have to pay the 5% fee, which is going to be 5% of $12,000, because you're going to take the $12,000, multiply it by 0.05, and that is going to give you $600 in fee. So when the bill comes at the end of the month, you're going to see $12,600 after you transfer it over to this new card. Now, if you decide not to use that and you want to use the other offer, which is a 0% on purchases with a $0 fee, and obviously you are going to charge your expenses, all your expenses on here that you can use the card to charge with. And say for instance, if your expenses for that month that you can use that card to charge is going to be $2,000, you're going to charge your $2,000 there. So now you have that extra $2,000, right, that you can allocate towards your debt. So I'm going to set up a table here with the interest, and I'm going to break this down for you. When we're calculating the interest, because we need to change our percent to decimals, so we're going to multiply it by 0.25, and the billing cycle here that we're going to use is going to be 30 days. All right, we are going to use a 30-day billing cycle. So the interest here is 25%. So you have your $12,000, and on this debt at the 25%, we are going to calculate the amount of interest that this credit card is charging you on a monthly basis. So you're going to take your $12,000, multiply it by 0.25, then you're going to divide it by 365 because there are 365 days in the year, and then multiply it by 30 because the billing cycle is 30 days. Once you do that, you notice here that your interest for that period is going to be $246.58. For month 1, so now you have $10,000 here after you've allocated the $2,000, but you must add your $246.58 to the $10,000. That will bring you to $10,246.58. Okay? That's what your grand total should be. Now you're going to go back and you're going to calculate the interest based on this amount, and you should get a whopping $210.55. Okay? So now this is month 1. Month 2, you come back again to the drawing board with month 2. And month 2, you are going to charge another $2,000. So now you have $4,000 on the card. One thing I must say to you is that I hope that you have extra money put aside to pay for the minimum payment on this card, because if you don't, then you have to allocate less of the $2,000 towards your debt in order to maintain your minimum payment on this card. Okay? So be mindful there. We are now into the second month. The $2,000 is going to come here. We are going to have $8,246.58. But we must again add our interest here to this total, and that will bring you $8,457.13. You need to calculate the interest for this month, and I've gone ahead and done it for you, and your total here interest is going to be $173.78. We are going to come back to our expense side, and we are going to charge another $2,000 on the card. So now on that card we owe $6,000, right? And this is month 3. I'm going to come over here and I'm going to allocate my $2,000 to here for month 3. I'm going to have a whopping $6,457.13, but I must add my $173 here in interest towards that. And so my grand total, it will be $6,630.91. This will give you a grand interest on that card for that duration of $136.25. The next month, which is now going to be month 4, you come over here with your expenses and you charge that $2,000. So now you have $8,000 on your credit card. Each month, as you are making this purchase on your card and it is increasing, you have to be mindful that your minimum payment is also increasing. So you have to set aside extra money now for your minimum payment. Okay? You come over to the debt side and you are paying the $2,000 onto this for month 4. Your total should be $4,630.91, but you had incurred an interest of $136.25, so you must add it to this, which will give you a grand total of $4,767.16. Now, you calculate the interest again. The interest on this is going to be $97.96 in interest. Coming back again, take it back over to the expense side. Month 5, you're charging the $2,000 for your expenses. So now you owe $10,000 on this card. You take that $2,000 and you are allocating it towards your debt on this side. And for month 5, your total here should be $2,767 plus the $97 in interest, which is going to give you $2,865.12. Your interest for this month is going to be $58.87. Month 6, you are going to charge the other $2,000. So now you have $12,000 on this card. Mark you, remember, is 0%, right? 0%, zero fee, but you have to maintain your minimum payment on that card. You're taking that $2,000, allocating it towards your debt, and you should have $865.12 plus the $58.87 in interest. So you should have a total of $924. And the interest on the $924 is now going to be $18.99. You have all this. Yes, you have less than $1,000 here. You can charge less than $2,000 on this card, so maybe $1,000 to offset your payment here. So I'm going to do a grand total here of all the interest that you have paid to a total of $942.98. That is a lot of money in interest, okay? So this is a little gray area that the person did not include when they were explaining how you can utilize the $0 fee and not choose the first option. I must say to you, and you can clearly see that you are actually paying $942.98, which is more than the $600 fee had you chose to utilize the first option. So using the $0 fee, in actuality it's not $0 fee because there is interest that you are paying. The interest here is $943. I'm rounding it. This is the gray area that the person did not speak about. I'm not saying that this method definitely will never work. It will not work when the interest rate is 25%. But guess what? I always like to analyze things. And so I went ahead and I did the math on a lower interest rate to show you that it can work for a lower interest rate. And that lower interest rate here, I'm going to choose 15%. All right, 15% lower interest rate. And let's get right into this and break it down for you, and you will see what will happen at the end. So now we have same $12,000, but we need to calculate the interest on the $12,000. So the $12,000, we're going to multiply it by 0.15, divided by 365, then multiply, and it's going to give us a whopping $147.94. Okay? So now in the second row, or in month 1, our total that we would have here is $10,147.94. And we are going to do the math on that amount again, repeat the process, and we should end up with an interest amount of $125.10. Okay, that's the interest for month 1. For month 2, our interest should be $102. That's the interest for month 2. And for month 3, we are going to end up with $78.60. And for month 4, our interest there for month 4 is going to be $54.91. Now we are going to continue doing this. Month 5, we are going to end up with $30.93. And the last month, which is month 6, is going to be $6.65. Now, when you add all of this here, you have to add up all the interest that you have paid based on the 15% APR, and that's going to give you a grand total of $546.13. So let's compare and analyze. You'll notice here that if your credit card debt is carrying a lower interest rate, say 15% in this case on the $12,000, you are going to pay less in interest as opposed to choosing the 0%, which was attracting the 5% transfer fee. In the grand scheme of things, if your credit card debt is carrying an interest rate greater than 15% and that debt amount is $12,000, you cannot or you should not take advantage of the second option. You should go ahead and take the first option, because literally more than 15% total interest that you are paying these credit card companies is too much money. Right now, if you go more than the 25%, you'll be over $1,000. Be careful of all these little hacks that people out there are telling you. Sometimes it will work, sometimes it will not work. But guess what, guys? You have to put everything on paper, and you have to sit down, do the calculation, and analyze it for yourself. Your situation may be different, but you have to do some work. You want to save money, and we also want to get out of debt. And as I stated, this would be a better option once your interest rate is greater than 15%. You might say, what am I going to do at the end of the duration when the credit card 0% on the balance transfer is now expired? Guess what? Find another credit card that you can do another balance transfer to, and that is what is called the art of juggling credit card balance transfer. I have a video on that. You can go back and watch that video and get some ideas how to do it. I've done it for years and it has worked for me, and I know it will work. But you have to be mindful of the expiration date. So in conclusion, I hope that this video has helped you and that you will be able to choose the best option based on the amount of debt you have and your interest rate. If you have not yet subscribed, please go ahead and hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, and share the video with others around the world so they too can get out of debt. Thanks for watching, and cheers now. See you on the other side. Bye.